Anybody who has been in downtown Wilmington lately has noticed a big change right on the corner of 5th and Market Street. This is one of the most anticipated things that has happened in the city of Wilmington for many, many years. We're sitting in the Queen Theater, believe it or not. Anybody who was here a year or so ago would not recognize this as being the same place. And sitting with me is the person behind this whole project, Mr. Hal Real of Real Entertainment. Hi, Hal.
Hi, Tina.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks for inviting me.
And thank you for inviting us to this wonderful space. Now, we're just going to talk a little bit about this space. Also, this space will hold other entities. For example, we're in the Queen Theater, but also we will have
the Light Up the Queen Foundation, which helped put this together.
Great.
World Cafe Live, which is my operation, and WXPN, one of the greatest public radio stations in the country.
And you're partners with World Cafe Live and WXPN. They're partners in Philadelphia. That very successful venue in Philadelphia, World Cafe Live.
Correct.
That also houses WXPN.
That's right.
So the partnership here in Wilmington will be very similar?
It'll be similar in some ways and different in other ways. In Philadelphia, half the building is WXPN, it's their primary studios. In Wilmington, most of the building is for World Cafe Live, but XPN has 2 satellite studios that enable them to broadcast anything that goes on in the building live at the flip of a switch.
Well, that's fantastic, because that's one of the wonderful things about the venue in Philadelphia. So we're glad to have that happening down here in Wilmington. Now, this is brand new to Wilmington, as we talked about, and the opening date to the public will be?
Well, the opening date to the public is April 2nd. April 1st is a ribbon cutting, and April 1st in the evening is a party for the VIPs and the many, many, many people who made this project possible. So you were kind to say the guy behind the project, but there is no one guy behind this project. It is the essence of collaboration. Many, many, many people that made this happen, and it'll take many, many people to keep the lights on once we light it up.
Well, I know that you have a lot of thank yous, and as you said, this has definitely been a collaborative effort with government and private and foundation. So there are many people who have brought this together, but Hal, you're being very, very generous when you say that you are not the power behind the throne. Now, there is this is a very different model.
Yes.
Than many other models that we're used to. You have a nonprofit side and you have a profit side. Can you talk just a little bit about how those 2 sides work together?
Sure. This was in some ways something that we tried in Philadelphia first, because our facility at World Cafe Live in Philadelphia, as I said, is half WXPN, which is a nonprofit public radio station, and the other half my company, Real Entertainment Group, licensing the World Cafe name from WXPN. That's the name, by the way, for their radio show that is syndicated to 200 stations around the country, where anybody who is anybody in contemporary music, rock and roll, jazz, blues, gospel, really cut their teeth. The show's going into its 20th year. And we licensed that name from WXPN and have the exclusive rights to use it for live music venues and restaurants. The for-profit, nonprofit partnership is an innovative way in challenging economic times to create a model that allows a building like this to be restored for half of what it would usually cost, taking the best available and financing of both private enterprise and nonprofit. So, for example, this is a $25 million project. Normally, that would be 80% public dollars and 20% private. In this instance, it's the opposite of that.
Wow.
So we've gotten great support from the city, from the state, from foundations and corporations and individuals, but also we have tax credit investors and other for-profit investors that make this happen. The other difference is that we don't rely on contributions to sustain the model. Once it's open, it's up to my company to make sure that the model is self-sustaining, so that we're not taking money from other nonprofits and other arts organizations in order to keep this place going. We have lots of programming, lots of things going on, and it's kind of a new model.
And one of those things that we took a tour of the building, and there are multiple kitchens here at the Queen, and that will be part of the keeping it going, the restaurants and
Very
the bar
much so.
business, right?
Yes, well, we are a music place, we are a food and beverage restaurant kind of place. And we are an events place, very much an events place. So we try to keep things going 24/7 around here. Our programming is very diverse. People say, who's your audience? Well, they're basically from 1-year-olds to 85-year-olds. We do classical, we do very fun, great interactive kids programming. We do lots of stuff for grown-ups, lots of stuff for younger grown-ups, lots of different kinds of music all the time. In Philly, we do an average of 550 ticketed shows a year,
wow,
plus another 100 free shows, plus a couple hundred private events. And those events include weddings, birthday parties, fundraisers, bar mitzvahs, you name it.
It can happen
at World Cafe Live.
It can happen.
And we have unique abilities because, if somebody wants to throw a big bash, we can book any music they want. We do the production in-house, we do the event planning in-house. The lighting and the sound, the best you can get is here. The acoustics are great, and we can plan your menu and execute on it.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned free programming.
Yes.
And I know one of the things that lots of people look forward to in Philadelphia is your Friday, your lunchtime Friday free performance. Will that happen here in Wilmington?
It will. What we've done is with WXPN in Philadelphia about 4 years ago, we created what's known as Free at Noon. So just about every Friday at noon, there is a free, to the first 1,000 people who tell XPN they want to come, a free concert that goes from noon until about 1 o'clock. And we've had emerging artists, but we've also had huge acts like Counting Crows, Carly Simon, people like that in such a relatively small venue. So XPN and World Cafe Live will continue doing free at noons. They will be in Philadelphia, and now sometimes they will be in Wilmington.
And you have two performance spaces here. We're sitting in the large performance space.
We are.
And then there's a smaller performance space that's right off of Market Street.
Yes.
And your programming in both spaces will be different. Tell us how that will break down as far as the artists are concerned.
Again, very much like Philly, we have Upstairs Live, which is the smaller music venue, which is a restaurant serving lunch, happy hour, and dinner, and then morphs into another very intimate music venue, sort of reminiscent of the coffee houses of the late 60s and early 70s. About 160 people, with 80% being local and regional artists performing, and about 20% emerging national artists. But we're very dedicated to being a clubhouse for the local music community. So while we've broken some big acts in Philly and our smaller venue like KT Tunstall and Raphael Sadiq, which makes the national agents all want us to put national artists, we're committed to making sure that we build local and regional artists in that space. The larger venue where we're sitting in Downstairs Live is the opposite. It's 80% national, established, or emerging artists, and then 20% of the time we'll take a bunch of local and regional artists and bring them together so they can build their audience base and cross-fertilize with
And I know that a lot of people have seen that happen in Philadelphia, where there's a local person who will open for a more established artist.
Absolutely.
Well, Hal, thank you so much. We are so excited about the opening on April 2nd to the public, and you actually have tickets on sale now that people can take advantage of.
In fact, Ingrid Michelson is all but sold out, but Amy Mann is the next week.
Fantastic.
And we've got a whole host of people. If you just go to www.worldcafelive.com, you can pick on Philadelphia or Wilmington to see what's coming up.
Hal, thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting us, Tina. Thank you. We are too.
Thanks.